You probably think that taking photos of galaxies in deep space would be extremely hard and require expensive gear, but that's not necessarily the case. I'm going to show you 3 ways of capturing images like this, ranging from the hardest to the easiest. There are 3 paths I'm going to outline. The first is the pro setup. This is where you get the ultimate results, but it's the most complicated and most expensive. The second is what I call the photographer's setup. This is using regular photography gear, like cameras and lenses. The third is the one-click wonder setup, which is the easiest, almost feels like cheating. If you want this emailed to you so you can read it over in your own time, there's a link below, but otherwise we're going to get into it. So the classic and most advanced way of doing deep sky astrophotography is to build a setup that comprises telescope, mount and camera. This is how great astrophotographers like Prazeres, Steve Boddy, Andy Campbell, the images I'm showing throughout this video, this is how they go about it. This gives you the best opportunity of getting professional level results, but it is also the most expensive and the most complicated, the longest learning process. So the telescope needs to be one tailored for astrophotography. The mount needs to be really good. It's often talked about as the most important piece of gear in your astrophotography setup. And the camera needs to be a dedicated astronomy camera. So these are devices specifically made to be used with telescopes for either deep sky or planetary imaging. If you're doing deep sky, it'll need certain traits like high resolution and cooling. And then of course there's the accessories needed, there's the software to run it, and then bringing it all home for processing. So an example setup we could look at, if you want top level gear, you're talking a Takahashi Askar apochromatic refractor telescope, the best mount out there, the Skywatcher EQ6R Pro, and a dedicated astronomy camera from ZWO that particularly excels for deep sky. You can see how this easily comes in at over $10,000. So if you want a hobby to which you can dedicate that time, gradually progress, getting better at all the different elements, and you have enough money to stick into it, then this is a perfect option for you. This is how you eventually go about capturing images that win astrophotography awards. The second way of going about it is what I call the photographer's setup. So this is using a regular DSLR or mirrorless camera, regular photography lenses, a regular tripod, so everything you would use for normal daytime photography, wildlife, landscape, portrait, family, whatever. The only additional bit of gear you might want to add to that, if you've already got those, would be something called a star tracker. This is a small device, sits between your tripod and camera, and essentially it rotates your camera counter to the Earth's rotation so that you can take those long exposures that you need to take. They can be bought for between $250, $500 for the best models, Move Shoot Move Nomad, Skywatcher Star Adventurer. This way of going about deep sky imaging is what Cayetana Saiz has done to capture images like this of the Andromeda galaxy. If you're interested, she teaches this in a course, there's a link below. The third way to go about it, called the one-click wonder, this is using a smart telescope. This is the easiest way by far, but it has, I guess, the lowest ceiling in terms of the image quality you can expect. Smart telescopes are devices, they contain the telescope, camera mount, everything all within one device. You operate it from your phone. Really easy and a lot of fun. They can range from a few $100s to a few thousand. There are 11 great smart telescopes on the market right now. Just quickly to run through them, there are 3 good budget options. The Dwarf 3, which is the most portable. There's the C-Star S30, which is the most affordable and smallest. And there's the C-Star S50, which is the most powerful of the budget options. You then have a mid-range to premium bracket where you have models like the Unistellar Odyssey, which is super easy and super slick to use. You have the Unistellar Equinox 2, which is slightly more powerful but a bit trickier to use. And you have the Vanos Vespera 2. And in the top tier, you have what I call the ultra premium option. So you have the Unistellar Odyssey Pro, same as Unistellar Odyssey, really easy to use, super slick, but it has an eyepiece. I really love that feature. It really makes a difference to that experience of using it, particularly if you're sharing it with someone else. The Unistellar Evscope 2 also has that eyepiece. It's the only other one that has it. That's a bit more powerful than the Odyssey Pro, but a bit harder to use. You have the Vanos Vespera Pro, which has the highest resolution camera. It's easy to use, people get great results with it. And then lastly, you have the Celestron Origin, which has the best imaging capacities in terms of the camera, the telescope, all the components. It's the model with the highest capacity, but it is big and heavy compared to the others. So all of those 11 models are good. It just depends on your budget, how much you value portability and ease of use. If I had to pick from each of those brackets, I'd go Dwarf 3 for the portability. I'd go Unistellar Odyssey Pro if money was no object and I wanted the easiest and most fun that I could show off and share with others. If I wanted the best for imaging and I didn't mind the additional weight and lack of portability, I'd go with the Celestron Origin. Now, in terms of the imaging capabilities of smart telescopes, so you can see here, this is an image of the Bubble Nebula that I took with the Unistellar Odyssey Pro. As you can see, this is nowhere near the level of the images we were looking at earlier, but this took me about one click of a button and it took a couple of minutes exposure, and then it was sent to my phone, processed like this. So it's super easy. I remember going out and doing it. It's a nice memory of the night. But there are ways to massively improve the images you get from smart telescopes. The first way is to take much longer exposures. This was just a few minutes. I was just being impatient. Then you can extract the raw data and take it into some advanced software like PixInsight and process it yourself rather than having the app process it for you. If you do that, you get lots of data and long exposures. You go and process it yourself. You can actually get some really high level images from smart telescopes, and you're learning processing, you're learning more about astrophotography in general. If you've never been near PixInsight or anything like that, or never even heard of it, it can sound and seem pretty intimidating. If you want a shortcut to processing deep sky images, whether it's from any of these setups, course link below, Deep Sky Mastery, has a module on processing with PixInsight. It even has data to practice with. It's worth the price alone of that course. So I hope that helped you understand the different ways you can get into deep sky astrophotography. Of course, you could start one way and progress to another. So you could start with a smart telescope. You could then progress to extracting the raw data from these images and processing them yourself. You could start with the DSLR or mirrorless camera and lenses you already have, and then gradually improve your setup as you kind of learn the limits of each component. So you swap your star tracker for a top mount, you swap your lenses for an apochromatic refractor telescope, you swap your DSLR for a dedicated astronomy camera. You can do that gradually as you have the money and as you work out what it is you want to do that's going to help you advance to those next levels. Whilst you're doing this, you're getting better at taking those images, acquiring that data, and at processing them. Again, if you want to take away a quick summary of how to go about different types of astrophotography, there's a link to a free guide below. If you really want to understand what the best astrophotographers in the world are using to capture these award-winning deep sky images, then check out this video I did where I analysed over 1,000 award-winning photos to see what cameras, telescopes and mounts they were using. Bye.